Thank you to EcoFlow for sponsoring this video. So we have a lot of electronics kicking around the office, so we trust EcoFlow to kind of back the whole thing up. But all the electronics that you buy or might want to buy and power with your EcoFlow, they're getting more expensive by the day. So I'd imagine extra couple $100 in your pocket could go a long way, and I want to help you get there. The chance to win $500. It's my favorite thing to do in videos, doing it for years. Thank you for being good people, supporting me all of these years. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me the first thing you would plug in to your EcoFlow system, or tell me a fact about yourself or a joke. Just make sure there's a way to contact you either in the comment or if I click on your page, a way to reach you on your YouTube page. Give the video a thumbs up, let it run for 10 days, open to anyone in the world. All the information you need though will be down below. So I've covered a lot of batteries on this channel. I talked about EcoFlow for a while, and we've got actually installed in the studio in our garage the Delta Pro Ultra. That should we have power outage here, which happens seemingly once a month, it gives us backup so we can keep running the business. We talked about it, I showed the install for that, but we kind of trust everything to EcoFlow. Well, I've talked about a lot of batteries. I haven't talked about that many that fit the category that the new River 3 does. So when I think of batteries in general, I think of usually, they fall in like 3 categories. There's a small portable pocket-sized batteries for like smartphones and tablets, the ginormous batteries made for backup and long-term power storage, and then I think there's like this middle category. A large battery pack that is sort of less for emergency backup, but they're kind of perfectly suited for powering everything you need when you're away from like a wall outlet. So it gets the best of portability and power all in kind of one battery. And with the River 3 series, EcoFlow wanted to make sure this was small, powerful, and effective. I think that kind of describes me too. They start with portability. So the main thing to consider here is making a small design that will deliver the power that you need. So with this, EcoFlow used sort of new materials to make this happen. So now this is using what EcoFlow calls X-Core 3.0, it's marketing speak. This is the suite of functionality that comes straight from the flagship Delta Pro 3. All right, so with this, you're getting X-GaN power, which uses gallium nitride to replace traditional silicon-based material for transistor manufacturing. Essentially what that means is the efficiency for the battery has been significantly boosted. Back to this design, you can get double the runtime or 15 hours longer runtime for devices running 100 watts or less. That is a gigantic and substantial bump. In the real world, that means you can run really important things for longer. So for instance, Wi-Fi routers, lights, fans, a lot of these sort of creature comforts we've kind of grown to get used to. So double that runtime is potentially like a really big deal. And this is all sort of packed into really small, really light package that can still power what you need. It is a 300 watt-hour power station. It is 30% smaller than other similarly powered stations, and it's only 7.7 pounds, which is 20% lighter. Those are gigantic real-world benefits. And if you look at this thing and pick it up, you expect it to be a lot heavier than it is. And it's like, oh, it weighs like less than like most puppies. Also with batteries, they have a tendency to be really loud. EcoFlow has got something called X-Quiet built in, limits the noise to under 30 decibels from a little over 1.5 feet or further. So for reference, we measure kind of the ambient noise in our studio. So this essentially is silent in our use case. And if for some reason, it needs to be even quieter, when charging, you set it to charge below 50 watts, and that'll turn the fan completely off to reduce further noise. It will obviously charge a little slower. If not, you can also charge super fast with Extreme Tech. You can go from 0 to 100% in just 1 hour over like normal AC power. Plus it can be charged with solar or even in the car with a generator, so you are completely covered there. And all of these features are great, and it means you can utilize this battery in a ton of ways that you might not have thought of. I think one really cool way is to use this as a UPS backup in case of power failure. So say you have a device that absolutely has to be powered all the time, you could plug it into the battery and then plug the battery into the wall, and if your house loses power, this will switch over in under 20 milliseconds. So you wouldn't even notice that power is interrupted at all. And it's like, I think of people who have like CPAP machines or run oxygen. Even we have downstairs, our door lock is magnetic. And if we ever lose power, it's set to automatically unlock. Not something I would want to have happen. This is a perfect solution for all of those use cases and probably a bunch more. I think this type of battery is the absolute sweet spot for most people. It gives you a bunch of usable power, but can also go with you anywhere because of the size and the weight. It's also really affordable. $239 normally, but it is on sale for $169. That is a lot of value, a lot of technology, and a lot of power for the sale price of under $170. All right, but if you want some more juice, that's where this comes in. This is the new Delta 3 Plus. So like I kind of talked about earlier, there are different types of portable batteries out there. And I think the Delta series is one of the industry's leading products for larger, kind of more backup centered batteries. And the 3 Plus takes what the last version did really well and tweaks it to give you, I think, a better overall experience. Now, what they did do with this new generation, they actually made a new generation. They didn't just make the last generation like a darker color and claim it was new. The things to keep in mind here is that you're getting high-speed charging, high capacity, and flexibility. It is a 1,024 watt-hour battery with a 2,200 watts of power. This is probably gonna sound similar to the River 3 I just talked about, but what you're getting here is just more of it, all kind of just taken up a notch. So it's still using the really awesome X-Core 3.0 technology, and with Xtreme, this gives you kind of industry-leading fast charging speeds. So over AC power can charge 1,500 watts, but you can go to 100% in 56 minutes. It is hard to emphasize how fast that is, but it is insanely fast, and that is better than any of the other batteries that I have tested, and I have tested a lot. Because they have such a large capacity, fast charging matters if you know a power outage is coming. Maybe you're in the way of a storm. Plugging this in for less than an hour gets you a full 100% pack ready to go. That's not the only way to charge this. There are actually 5 different ways. I think this is another way that EcoFlow like really shines. So first, AC power, just talked about that. It can also be charged over solar. It can go from 0 to 100% in about 70 minutes via solar, which is really good for off-grid use. And if you're using this in your car, you can use the 800 watt alternator charger, which will charge us in about 1.3 hours while driving, which is really good for kind of overlanding and RVing. And if you need more ways to charge, you can charge using a 1,500 watt or higher gas generator by plugging that into the AC port. Or you can do a combo of AC and solar charging. So really whatever way you have available, this will be able to charge super fast. This is also using X quiet mode to make sure you don't kind of hear all the stuff. If you're under like a 600 watt load, the sound is under 30 decibels, which like I said, is virtually imperceivable. And also has a 10 millisecond UPS mode. Because of the capacity of the battery, you can kind of trust it with vital equipment, a lot of life-saving equipment potentially. But if you want to use it for networking equipment, NAS servers, or even just sort of retail POS systems, it is a really good way to go. And for personal devices too, like I mentioned, it can run CPAP, security cameras, and a ton more. And all of this can be controlled and monitored with EcoFlow app, which is powered by EcoFlow Oasis. This can show what your battery is currently doing. It can give you sort of storm alerts and UPS power outage alerts. It can give you reminders for long-term storage, or if you want to kind of control the scheduling. Plus, it can give you a time of use rundown. So you can kind of manually enter the time, electricity costs, and it'll calculate cost savings using the battery while connected to the grid. That is a real savings that can ultimately help the battery pay for itself. And all of this fits into the EcoFlow Delta ecosystem. So there are expansion batteries, external generators, solar panels, and sort of EcoFlow makes all of that work together with the EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus to bring you sort of even more expanded capabilities. And when you compare it to the pricing of all the other batteries out there, it's relatively reasonable. $799 normally, $649 if you want to pre-order. And if you want to check out any of this stuff, the links will be down below. But think of a use case. Think of a use case that's happened to you. Has there been a time that you lost power? Has there been a time that you went on a road trip and wish you had power? I guarantee you one of those situations fits one of these use cases here. And EcoFlow has done an incredible job with their technology, with their charging, with their weight savings and their space savings. If you're in the market for anything, and I think this is a battery pack, I think one of these can fit for absolutely everybody, you kind of owe it yourself to check out what EcoFlow is doing.